And a True Conviction. Oh, play True Conviction. We are going to get this Talani Summoner. It is our goal to win with our opponent's cards.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Patreon-submitted Grenzo deck. Can we win with our opponent's cards? Find out next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, are you looking to get some card alters done? If so, be sure to check out RevelinsLight.com because they do absolutely amazing work, including my most favorite Aurelia altar. RevelinsLight.com, link is in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Grenzo Havoc Razor today. And today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Zach Ryan. And this deck is called Grenzo, I Want to Win With Your Cards. So let's take a look at this opening hand. Oh, it's interesting. So we've got some of our late game stuff with Moonveil Dragon, Mob Rule. We've got Mask of Memory, not a lot in the middle. Like, we've got a lot of low-cost creatures in the deck that we're not seeing in the hand, but Mask of Memory is pretty good. I think it's worth keeping on the strength of that. Does this get us a creature? If we control 3 or more other mountains, that'll take a minute to get going. But yeah, it's not my favorite hand ever, but I think Grenzo with Mask of Memory should be enough to, like, loot us into more stuff. And, like, this is card draw. Mono red doesn't draw cards the best, especially when you're excluding wheels and impulse draw. So, like, Mask of Memory is draw into your hand with the discard, which definitely has a leg up on, like, impulse draw, stuff like that. So, Mother of Ruins into play for opponent. It's a pretty good one. Land tax for opponent. There's a low drop creature. Excellent. Play a mountain. Pass the turn. Feels so slow already. Opponents got their turn 1 plays on. This deck has a few turn 1 plays. Lots to do at turn 2, though. So I've played this deck a few times myself. I played it last year for him, and he's made a bunch of changes since then. He sent it back to me to put on video again, so we're taking a look at the updated version of it. I filmed a game with it maybe 2 weeks ago, and that game ended up being long and terrible, so don't know if I'll show that one. We'll see. We'll see. Might be rainy day footage or something. And then I also played it on stream, I think last week, and the deck is cool, it's interesting. The deck tends to have really good early game and then has trouble transitioning to the late game, which is sort of an interesting problem to solve. It's sort of the problem of, like, any low-costed aggro deck is going to have in Commander. You can come out swinging super fast, but it is hard to actually sustain the game later. I've made a few changes to the deck that should help a little bit with that, and we'll talk about them after, unless we draw into some of them as we get going. But I do think it's a cool Commander. Zach Ryan's playstyle is, I want to play with your cards, and that's what this deck is meant to do. I don't know if competitive is the right word, but, like, you could definitely build a stronger version of this deck, but the theme of this deck is winning with other people's cards. So it's not necessarily going to be the strongest Grenzo ever, but it will be a super interactive Grenzo, and that in and of itself is very fun. And there is something to say about decks that want to use everyone else's stuff. They tend to have a lot more replayability because your game plan is going to change from game to game based on what your opponents are doing. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of exciting. But anyway, we draw into an Ancient Tomb. Opponent gets some stuff going over there. Arcane Signet, Legion's Landing. Having pretty good early turns here. Ooh, they're playing Adriana. Ew. You want to go with Adriana? This Mob Rule. We draw this Ancient Tomb. I don't actually know if we need the Ancient Tomb this turn. We do not. 2 blockers in play. I think that puts me on this Utvara Scalper, honestly. And we'll wait to go on Grenzo, I think. Yeah, that seems good to me. Pass like that. Tetsuko Umezawa, Fugitive. Yeah, that's a cool card. Let's take a read of our commander. It's red for a 2/2. It says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one, goad target creature that player controls, or exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. So really cool. We can exile stuff off the top of our opponent's libraries, but also that goad mechanic is super disruptive. So hopefully we'll get a good look at that and just see what kind of havoc it causes on the board. I found that Grenzo can live up to its name pretty well. You start goading things and havoc ensues. There's a Thalia into play for opponent. Ew. That should slow some things down, although Adriana, probably a lot of creatures. Who else are we facing? Anowan, the Rune Thief. Haven't seen this one in action yet. Should be exciting. Land tax trigger for opponent. Sword of the Animus for opponent. Yep. Those are pretty good. Gotta pay extra for it. They would be attacking with it this turn if no Thalia. That hurts. That's the type of stuff that hurts. And this Ancient Tomb is actually going to come in pretty handy, I think, because of that. Brings it back to our turn. We draw another mountain. Excellent. Gives us something to loot away. Play the Ancient Tomb. Play Mask of Memory. We're going to have to pay the 1 extra. Fortunately, Ancient Tomb getting us to 4 mana, so we can still equip this. Equip the Mask of Memory. Who do we want to pick a fight with? We'll take a little poke over to... Take a poke to Kenrith. Kenrith has some good cards in play. So we hit with the Mask of Memory. Opponent takes 1. We get to draw 2, then discard 1. There's a Howling Mine. Loot a land. And we will pass like that. So let's take a look at what our opponents are actually playing today. First up, we have Mugen 80 piloting Anowan the Rune Thief. It's 4 mana for a 2/4, says other rogues you control get +1/+1, and whenever one or more rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, that player mills a card for each 1 damage dealt to them. If the player mills at least 1 creature card this way, you draw a card. Interesting. So I think it's actually going to be somewhat of a combat-centric Dimir deck, which isn't a thing you see like tons and tons of, as opponent casts a Sig River Cutthroat, probably one of the few Dimir decks that does tend to attack a bit more than other things. In general, Dimir not known as aggro colors, the presence of a lot of tutors really just sets Dimir up for easy combo. Like, Vampiric Tutor is a broken card. With stuff like that, it just becomes really easy to assemble 2 cards together and win the game. So, that's heavily where Dimir's incentives lie. So it is actually interesting to see something that's a bit more combat focused. And, one of the things I've thought about for a little while is that when you look at, like, especially mono blue, you start thinking about, like, how can mono blue actually win a game? Like, realistically. And I'm not talking about, like, jank win conditions. I'm talking about, like, in a normal setting, your normal 7 out of 10 type of commander. What do your blue win conditions look like? And most of them are combo based. It's going to be some form of Labman. Thassa's Oracle is the easy one. Maybe some infinite mana with Palinchron or Peregrine Drake. And it just lends itself to combo so much. And also, there's just not a lot of incentive to be doing anything combat focused in those colors. So, try to make a long story short, it's nice to see Dimir getting some combat incentive so that if you're trying to build your own Dimir deck, you don't just immediately have to go for combo because nothing else is really viable. And I'm not saying that, like, this is the best commander ever, but the abilities look cool. It's going to generate a lot of value, kind of be annoying, and milling combo decks, especially blue-based combo decks, is really annoying for them because they want their cards in their hand, not in their graveyard. Now, decks with Eternal Witness, green decks, some black decks, depending on what they're doing. Creature-based decks don't care that much. In fact, you might be helping them, but if they're looking for like some sort of specific combo, milling it tends to slow people down, and they need to find a way to get it back now, so it does cause headaches for people. But anyway, that's a lot of thoughts on Anawan and Dimir and all things blue and black right there. Opponent does poke us for 1 with the Vampire, brings it back to our turn. Kenrith leaving up a bunch of mana. What are we doing this turn? Howling Mine's going to cost extra. That's not the most fun. We could go for like Howling Mine and Grenzo is the thing that we could do. Maybe that makes sense. We could also go like Grenzo, Makokoro, draw with Makokoro. I think it was Howling Mine is essentially the same thing, right? Okay, yeah. So let's play the mountain, play Grenzo. Let's poke into Mugen real quick. Goad one of their... we try to exile off the top. Maybe we try to exile off the top. Maybe I'm just on the goad. Actually, yeah, the goad should be... I don't feel like we have the mana necessarily. Let's roll them dice. If we hit a creature, it's probably a rogue. It could be cheap. That's all interesting. I'm going to exile the top and see what happens. Let's try and get lucky. Goading a 1-power creature is not the most exciting thing ever. Next turn, we can think about getting a little bit more wild. Mask of Memory trigger. That's an Ugin and a Smuggler's Copter. Those are fun. We need to discard a card. We're so close on the Dwarven Mine, but... Oh, we've got 3 mountains already. Yeah, okay, we got 3 mountains. So, discard the mountain. Exile the top card. Hope for something good. It was the land. Well, hope they didn't need a land. Do we want the extra trigger from Smuggler's Copter? I think we do. Yeah, let's pay 3 for the Smuggler's Copter. Because there's not really a place to get in with Grenzo anywhere now. So, the flying is going to be a pretty big deal, I think. Continuing on our opponents, next up we have Banana piloting Kenrith the Returned King. 5 color, could be a lot of things. Haven't really shown what they're up to yet. Got Thalia in there, don't know if it's just to like slow things down, or maybe they got something a little bit more stacks based. Not sure. Anawan coming into play, pumps up the team. Yeah. If I understand this right, I should be able to screw the Smuggler's Copter. Tap the Grenzo. I'm not great with the crew mechanic. I didn't play Standard then, and vehicles just haven't made a big splash in Commander. I've tried it a few times here and there, but make sure there's nothing crazy on here like Death Touch. Block the Sig River Cutthroat. Ooh, we get the loot. Yeah, I'll take a free loot. We're also going to soak up that damage, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a Sig trigger at the end step. Also, they won't get to mill us. Use the ability. Magus of the Wheel, you say? Honestly, I don't think we need a Magus of the Wheel. We have a Light and Shadow in the deck, so we could potentially get it back in the late game should it come to that. Not that it's in our hand, but with Mokokoro, Howling Mine, Smuggler's Copter, Mask of Memory, and Grenzo, I'm feeling pretty good about our card draw right now, so not too worried. Not too worried. Opponent mills 2. They mill land Shared Animosity. I'm sure they wanted that Shared Animosity. Here comes Kenrith into play. Yep, Kenrith is really good. Our final opponent, by the way, is Milk and Cheese 1, Sean, piloting Adriana, Captain of the Guard. I think this is the deck I was talking to him about the other day. It's going to be like a very token-based... Oh, I hope it's not the Wipe the Board deck. That would be bad. He was talking about a deck where he wanted to use Assemble the Legion, Outlaws Merriment. We see Felidar Retreat in play. There's also, what's the other one? Retreat to Corehaven. So a lot of token production. I think it's going to be a lot of board wipes. I think it's the type of deck that's like wipe the board a lot, make a lot of tokens off of these repeatable sources. If it is a wipe the board deck, then we buckle up for a long game. Luckily, we've got a Howling Mine and Mokokoro. Should help with some of that. This is going to be a make all the land drops you possibly can type of game, and try to ramp with lands more so than like artifacts and stuff. So he gets a landfall trigger. Yep, probably going to make a 2-2. Makes a 2-2 right here. Elspeth Tyrell coming into play. Oh yeah, that's also good for making tokens. It's going to make 3 1/1s. Yeah, he's got a little token army over there. 1-1 coming our way. Nothing we can do about that. Down to 32. Another mountain. Crew the Smuggler's Copter. Well, we could swing into that Planeswalker, but I think I'm going to make someone else do it. Go to combat. Where are we swinging? I think one into Banana, the other into Mugen, and I think we're going to goad some stuff right here. Smuggler's Copter. We're going to loot. Another mountain. Discard a mountain. So I'm going to goad 2 right here. I'm going to goad Anawan, and I'm going to goad Kenrith. I'm curious to see if they protect with Mother of Ruin, and then we get the Mask of Memory trigger. If it were me, I probably wouldn't protect against this, because like it doesn't kill it. It's just a little bit annoying. Ooh, there's a Sword of the Animus. We are going to need that. Discard a mountain. Yeah, he lets it go, because like... You're better off saving this for something that might actually try to kill Kenrith, because Kenrith is very much worth killing. So, yep. Let's play the Dwarven Mine right here. It'll come in on tap. We get a 1-1. You might want to think about easing up on the Ancient Tomb usage also. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to play Howling Mine right here. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't want to show Sword of the Animus yet. If Sword of the Animus comes down, I'm afraid of an artifact board wipe, and I want to get at least one trigger with it before that should happen, so... I know it's not the most mana-efficient thing ever, but I know how Sean's been playing a lot lately, and that's with a lot of board wipes, and games have been getting really long, so... Yeah, I don't want to expose our stuff. Howling Mine trigger. Suppose we could have played Mokokoro this turn and looted one more time, but oops. That's a Blackblade Reforged. Yeah. Luckily, the Thalia is going to keep it from getting equipped this turn. But yeah, if they wanted to put it on their commander, we're probably just going to keep their commander goaded so that it does not hit us. Yeah, that is interesting. So with Tetsuko, Anawan shuts off the Tetsuko ability because all your rogues get +1/+1, and now none of them have 1 power or toughness. But for the times when Anawan's not in play, it probably makes a lot of sense, so... It's a trade-off, but it's a trade-off that's probably worth running. We need to play the deck more, but... Yep, opponent's going to send the Anowan into the Elspeth. I don't think it's unblockable, though, is it? Probably just going to get chumped by some tokens here. Yep, going to block with a token. Howling Mine. Tireless Tracker. Good card. Yeah, I'd say Kenrith is probably the target. I know what Adriana can do. It's all combat damage, and, you know, we have answers against that. Board wipes are bad for us. But Kenrith has, like, looks like Kenrith good stuff from what I can tell. So it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Maybe it's Human Tribal? Looks like Human Tribal. But that is a Thalia. Whew, yeah. Human Tribal does lend itself to stacks. 2 Thalias in play. Kenrith's going to swing over to the Elspeth. Unfortunately, they did not give it trample. We'll need to be careful because Makokoro will come in tapped, so we'll need to think about when we want to do that. Now I really wish I played the Makokoro last turn. Opponent blocks with a 1-1. Token's going down. Howling Mine. Felidar Retreat, a landfall. Gonna make a 2-2. Opponent milled 4 lands and a shared animosity. That's it's weird top of the deck. Adriana into play. Uh-oh, those tokens just got more serious. Just got more serious. Does come in tapped, but melee still applies to all the creatures. They don't have safe attacks over there. They have a safe attack at us. They don't have a safe attack into Banana, so actually maybe they stay put. Or not. No, they get all 3. Yeah, maybe they do have safe attacks. Math. 3 melee triggers. Flips over the Legion's Landing. Okay, I see what they're doing. Trying to get a little ramp going right there. Yeah, Adriana is super underrated. I don't play it all the time, but in the decks where I have played it, pumping your stuff +2/+2 or +3/+3 is really good. These 1/1s and 2/2s are now 4/4s and 5/5s. 1/1 and 2/2s don't tend to matter that much. 4/4s and 5/5s do. And the fact that, like, when you play these creatures, you didn't pay for a creature that would normally be a 5/5. So you're able to take these things that were very mana efficient to play, and then you make them bigger, and they kind of punch above their weight. Adriana can really pump out some damage. And it was a card that, like, when it came out, I was, like, pretty down on it. I'm like, ugh, it's another Boros attacking card. And it doesn't even seem, like, that great compared to Aurelia and Gisela and other really good attackers. And as I've played it over the years, I'm like, if you build a good deck around it, Adriana does melt people's life total pretty quickly. Usually prone to board wipes because it has a board state like this typically, but if you can keep your stuff in play, it kills people quickly. I had one magical game where I had Soul Ring, Hero of Bladehold, Adriana, Aurelia, and that killed 2 players in 1 turn, I think. It was an absurd amount of damage. Opponent cashes in their Planeswalker. Probably figures they can't defend it any longer. We draw a Ginger Brute. Opponent is tapped out. That is actually relevant because now we can get more triggers. And we're probably going to want to, like, do some stuff. Kokoro comes in tapped. I want to save Moonveil Dragon. I don't think we're in Moonveil Dragon position, so, like, that's all a thing. I'd like to get the most amount of triggers possible. If we mob ruled, we would get a lot of things to cast. Maybe we try to get a little bit more mana before we do that. Let's get the Sword of the Animist. Although if we control most of the stuff on board, we won't be able to goad very much. Let's get the Ginger Brute. Oh, Ginger Brute comes in tapped. Boo. Equip Sword of the Animist onto, I guess, on the flyer. Makes the most sense. We won't always have good attacks with Grenzo. Crew the Copter. Use the Dwarf. Go to combat. Grenzo in there. This. Nope. Attack Banana with this. I think attack Banana with this. Sword of the Animist. Smuggler's Copter trigger. Loot a land. There's a Solemn Simulacrum. More ramp. Get a mountain. Oh, one of the things that I did do is spice up the mana base in this deck a little bit. We see Makokoro right here. I've added a few of those. Just a couple nice utility lands into the deck that can help us sustain a little bit more. Don't really have mana left, so we're on full goad mode right here. Goad Kenrith. Goad Adriana. Goad Tireless Tracker. Oh, Adriana plus the... No, because Adriana's big and everything else is small. So Mob Rule is not the best for that. Probably need Insurrection to really do the thing. Ooh, that's a chain reaction. I think we're going to be needing that pretty soon. Discard the Mountain. Bloodthirsty Blade also going to be helpful. Play the Makokoro. It'll come in tapped. And that'll do it for us. Pass the turn. Opponent gets a draw with Sig. Sure. Someone's probably going to have to play a board wipe. That's a lot of power with Adriana. I kind of like the concept that he has going. I've been thinking about doing like an Iroas Enchantress deck for a little while. And I kind of like what he has going with his Adriana right here. Just use a bunch of the enchantments that can make tokens repeatably. And, then pump them up. Seems pretty cool. Blackblade Reforged onto the Tetsuko. It's large. Prefer to not get hit by this. This deck is interesting in that, like, it does a lot. Like, you do a lot of actions, but none of them are, like, game-breaking necessarily. We've played some stuff. We've poked people a lot. We've got a lot of triggers, but opponents all have healthy life totals. We haven't really blown up their stuff. So it does things, but it doesn't do, like, big, explosive game-winning things. Opponent's going to throw Thalia in front of the Tetsuko. That'll actually be helpful for us. Hopefully get a few more things done in a turn. Hopefully it doesn't help our opponents out too much, but Sean Mills, Cathar's Crusade, and Divine Visitation. Those are 2 cards that he really wanted. That hurts. Hope he's got a Hall of Heliod's Generosity. I think that also makes us live to Ugin. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we could cast an Ugin on our turn. Does require that we survive. May or may not happen. All right, let's take note of how much life we have right now. 32, 33, 26, which I believe is a combined 91 life between all 3 players, if I did my math right and carried the thing correctly. We'll see how much is left of that after Sean attacks. Arcane Signet. Yeah, Thalia makes signets real bad. Opponent attacking with their goated creatures. Opponent gonna block with Anawan. That looks like the play where they're expecting a board wipe. Sig trigger. Opponent could have a Toxic Deluge. Nope. Passes the turn. Alright, Sean's gonna get a really good crack at it. 2 of us are tapped out. There's a Howling Mine. 9 cards in hand. Some of them are lands. Spend some land taxes in there. Felidar Retreat. Does he go for the pump mode on this one? I probably would. Gives him Vigilance. No, it goes for a 2-2. I would have pumped right here. Skull Clamp. Ew. All the value. Equip the Skull Clamp. Yep, even better. Goes to combat. Spreads him around a little bit to make sure he gets the melee trigger, but a large concentration going to Banana. He's gonna feel this. He does have some blockers, though. He has more blockers than the rest of us. Melee triggers a whole bunch of times. Sword of the Animist. Oh, he can Sword of the Animist and then use that to pump with the Felidar Retreat. Seems pretty good to me. Yeah, now he's going for the pump. I would have pumped twice, personally, because it also gives him Vigilance. And that's an Unbreakable formation. They will be indestructible and get +1/+1. During main phase, it is not as main phase. Okay, so he's just trying to not lose them during blocks, I think. But, yeah, that's a curious play. I would have held that because we're about to wipe the board. And now we're in the clear, unless he's got the other one. Ooh, maybe he does have the other one. Now he's in my head. What does he have? I'm thinking, what if he's got the free one in hand? Because for a moment I was thinking going Chain Reaction Solemn Simulacrum, because that gives us 2 plays, and this gives us like ramp and card draw and all that good stuff. But if he's got Flawless Maneuver in hand, then Ugin is the one we want for that. And as it stands, we're not liable to get hit that much by the Ugin. Just a couple creatures, and all of our colorless stuff will survive. Yeah, I think I like the Ugin play. Talked myself into it. Banana's going to gain himself 5 life, so 96 from what we talked about earlier. New life totals. Moving to 27, Banana to 17, we're at 20. So that's 44, 64. That was a hit for about 30 damage, a little over 30, and 2 creatures got blocked. It's pretty serious. It's pretty serious. So had there been no blocking, probably about 40 damage. It's turn 7. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Throw an extra combat in there, and table's probably dead. We draw Rogue's Passage. Rogue's Passage is pretty cool. We should play it after the Thalia is dead, because that's what makes sense. We should probably go to combat first, honestly. I don't know that there's much we're going to cast, but maybe we can catch a Mana Crypt or something. Send the Flyer to Banana, and everyone else to Sean. Sword of the Animus will trigger. Oh, maybe this was the Mob Rule turn? No, because we still have the problem where Adriana is big and everything else is small. Yep. Gotta find that Insurrection. Get a mountain. Bunch of Grenzo triggers, start exiling. That's a Light and Shadow. Light and Shadow is extremely helpful. There's a creature. We may need that after this board wipe. Maybe we're getting rid of the creature. Oh, it's so cheap though. 1 mana. It's an easy play to make. I don't feel like we're going to be needing this Moonveil Dragon for a minute, so we'll dump that and then try to get it back with the Light and Shadow later. That could have been the play. Oh, that's a Coat of Arms. That's interesting. Talani's Summoner. Oh, that's really good for our deck. Idol of Oblivion. Also reasonable. And a True Conviction. Oh! Alright. Doesn't look like we're going on the Ugin plan. We're going to try the Blasphemous Act plan and hope it doesn't crush us. Blasphemous Act. It worked! Nice. Didn't have Flawless Maneuver. Yeah, they needed to save their Unbreakable formation. I don't know why they cast it. Back to the command zone. They draw. Play Rogue's Passage. Play True Conviction. I wanted to play the Coat of Arms, but True Conviction is just better. Also, our life is low. But we are going to get this Talani Summoner. It is our goal to win with our opponent's cards. So, I get we could be doing other things, but this is where we are. And pass like that, those cards will go into exile. Ooh, Consuming Apparition coming in. Aberration, I guess, is the correct pronunciation of that word. It's a 25/25, no big deal. Don't get hit by it. Whisper Steel Dagger, not on my radar. Let's see what this does. 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may cast a creature spell from that player's graveyard this turn and spend mana as though it were any color. Equip 3. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. I could see that in like a Mardu combat deck, maybe something like Snapdax. Anything with double strike, I think that could be kind of cool. I guess even just in like regular mono black. I've been wanting to build Ink Eyes for the longest time, and this seems like a really cool card for that deck. Who's the other one? The new guy. One of the vampires. The vampire that hits things and reanimates turns into vampires. Can't think of the name of it right now. Putting Bloodthirsty Blade on this consuming aberration is going to be pretty funny. There's a Ravos. Ravos is cool. Yeah, it looks like human tribal. Mirror Entity. That's also a pretty good one. Banana does confirm that he is playing Kenrith humans. I made a comment about not having seen Rick yet in the video that I posted today as I'm filming this, and Banana's watching that video right now. And he's like, he said, I'll show you Rick sometime. Rick is in this humans deck, so yeah. Outlaws Merriment coming into play. Yeah, I like it. Resilient Creature Producers. Landfall trigger. Gets a 2/2. With a True Conviction on our side, now the mob rule becomes a lot more attractive. Because having a bunch of even small creatures with True Conviction, that's meaningful damage, so probably start trying to gear toward that mob rule. Opponent gonna equip the Cat Beast? Sure. Assemble the Legions, got the other one. Yeah, he's got most of them going. That's why losing that Cathar's Crusade really hurt. Also the True Conviction. Brings it back to our turn. Find our Mana Crypt. Excellent. Play our Mana Crypt. What are we doing? There's a lot of things I want to do this turn, and I'm sure that we don't have mana to do all of them. I definitely want to goad this Consuming Aberration. Wouldn't mind goading these two either. We could just goad that one with the Bloodthirsty Blade. Maybe we go on the big setup turn and kind of do the really crazy stuff next turn. Although I'd like to keep getting lands with the Animus. Because Grenzo is going to be 4 to recast. That's not the best. Although, wow, we have Double Strike and a Light and Shadow. Yeah, that seems too valuable to not do. Play a land. Play Light and Shadow. Equip Light and Shadow. We have 7, 8 mana left. Get the Animus. Go to combat. Swing into Mugen. Oh, we forgot to cast Grenzo. Whoops. Knew I forgot something. Well, that sucks. Sword of the Animist and Talani's Summoner trigger. So we're going to have to spend 3 on the Bloodthirsty Blade. We'll want to make sure we do that. Leave enough up for it. So we'll go X2 on the Summoner. And these can go in... You know, I don't think Sean's going to block. Oh, yeah. We've got Double Strike. Use the Sword of the Animist. Mountain. This will get us 2 creatures back to our hand, which is really cool. Oh, we lost a Flamekin Village in there somewhere. Sean's going to block one and go for the card draw. That seems fair. Light and Shadow trigger. Get back the Moonveil Dragon just in case we need it. Second hit. Flying in haste. Attacks each combat if able. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Let's get that back just in case we need it. And we're back to 33 life. That's pretty big. It's pretty big. Play the Bloodthirsty Blade. Equip the Bloodthirsty Blade. And Sean's probably going to be pretty sad that he blocked. Because there's 31. We do have a City's Blessing, so we do not have to exile our tokens. And we'll pass like that. Oh, Bloodthirsty Blade. Bloodthirsty Blade attacks a certain type of commander player really hard. I am generally that type of commander player. If you like really big creatures, which many commander players do, Bloodthirsty Blade is so much trouble because you can no longer attack the thing you want to attack, and now your opponents are getting attacked by your creature, which is hopefully lethal on them, but also will like force interaction from them because they don't want to die. So, oh, this card. How about that life gain last turn, though? True Conviction, so good. With Light and Shadow? Yes, please. Ghostly Pilferer coming into play. Consuming Aberration trigger. We mill a land. It's now got 42 power. It's lethal on Sean. Everyone's terrified of the 42 power creature. Going into Sean. Sean better have a free spell, otherwise this is going to be it. Wish he saved that blocker. Actually, that's a good point. He could see this in play. I get that he wants to draw cards, but if you can see this in play, not that he should necessarily expect the Bloodthirsty Blade, but it doesn't make sense to block our stuff right there, because our stuff wasn't doing that much damage. Some punts. Sean goes down. Oh no, we lose his cards. No. Ew, Notion Thief. That's not what I want to see. And Windfall. Ugh. That sucks. We've got Light and Shadow. We can get our creatures back, but Mob Rule down. Yep, we discard our hand. He's got 21 cards. Target acquired. Banana can get something back out of his graveyard with Ravos. That actually is helpful. He's got an Eternal Witness in there. Not seeing any removal. There's a lot of cards, though. Willbreaker. Yeah, it goes for... That looked like the Eternal Witness. Howling Mind trigger. Yep. Those aren't going to help. Eternal Witness. Getting Defense of the Heart. Cool card. Yeah, it looks like a removal light kind of deck for Kenrith. Just appears to be like fun human tribal. Not savage Kenrith human tribal. Defense of the Heart. Yep. Pretty good. Funny story. These all have 1 toughness. We can just send these in and like... If he takes the damage, we can goad everything. And that's one way to get rid of everything. Ooh, that's a Tassiger. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Won the flip. We draw a Nykthos. Howling Mine. Doesn't help. Play the Nykthos. Get Grenzo. Opponent gets to draw a card. Yep. Crew the Copter. I'm going to put the Light and Shadow on the Copter because we need it to get through. I get there's other ways we could go about that, but that's what I'm going with. Sword of the Animist on a token. Swing those 3 into Mugen. Smuggler's Copter. It's going to be a no. And Sword of the Animist. Get a mountain. It's going to block with the Notion Thief. Excellent. So we're going to goad both of his creatures. I'm not even going to mess around with... I know we have the sword on there, but sometimes things happen. So I'm going to put this trigger on there just to take no chances. Then I'm going to get... Well, is Godo Bandit Warlord? That's a pretty good card. Let's get a Godo. We could Godo Helm next turn. That is a thing that we could do. The thing is gone, so we can Makokoro. Loyal Apprentice. 4 mana left. Yeah, play the Loyal Apprentice, I guess. Ooh, we got a Phoenix? How do we get this Phoenix back? Escape. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Yeah. Let's get this Phoenix. Need to exile some stuff. Go for the lands. And we've got a Phoenix. Opponent gets to draw a card. Target creatures unblockable. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to mess around with that. Gruesome Encore. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield. Haste, exile it at the end step, and if it would go anywhere else. What's it going to be? Our Moonveil Dragon. No big deal. In goes the Consuming Aberration. Moonveil Dragon our way. What other equipments are in this deck? I'm going to take a quick peek. Whisper Silk is useful. Feast and Famine's kind of crazy. We could Helm of the Host. I would love to not do that. Hasn't really been that kind of game other than the Notion Thief play. Yeah, Feast and Famine looks like our best bet, or the Whisper Silk Cloak if we want unblockable. Don't have a way to give Godo haste, though, other than the Helm. All of opponent's stuff is goaded. Well, I guess not that one, but no blocks for us. Opponent goes down. Big hit by Consuming Aberration. Negative 26. What was it, about 40? It was about 40 power, 40 something. It's like 42 power when it hit. Yeah. There's an Una's Blackguard coming into play. Cool card. Consuming Aberration will trigger again. Custody Battle. Oh, that would have been cool, actually. Let's see what we draw. Opponent's got a blocker. Gonna make it harder to do lethal without Helm. I guess we could Helm something else. We could Helm Grenzo. That would be kind of cool. Back to our turn. Mana Crypt trigger. Tails. Won the flip. Chaos Warp. That's a pretty good piece of protection to have around. Our Armillary Sphere finds lands. Oh, what are we doing? I would love to be able to get this 13 damage without going infinite with Helm. What do we have right now? We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This would be 13, 14. Now we got to remove the biggest one. We could try Chaos Warping the Blackguard and hope he doesn't hit a creature. If he hits a creature, it's kind of bad, though. So I guess Loyal Apprentice, Godo. I guess we'll go for Feast and Famine. Whisper Silk is interesting. We'll go for Feast and Famine. Put this on Grenzo. This right here. Activate Nykthos. 6 red mana. I'm going to try the Chaos Warp. Pray for no creature. I hit a creature. That sucks. Play the Armillary Sphere. Equip a Sword of the Animist. Go to combat. Get a token. Oh no! Oh no! I hope I caught it. I didn't activate the copter. Whew, caught it just in time. We're gonna crew the copter with the Godo. And send them. Loot with the copter. Although, no reason to loot really. Well, we can bring things back. We'll go no loot. Get a land. Yep, block's one of the biggest ones. It's not ideal. Exactly 0. Nice. Got there. Whew, had just enough. Just enough in the tank. So yeah, that's the deck. Like, it's cool. You get to take a lot of small actions that are all a little bit disruptive, but nothing that like blows the game wide open. Generally, you need to be in slightly more casual setting. You can do the Godo Helm combo and Neheb Aggravated Assault combo, which is in here. And he said that he'll switch between these depending on what setting he's playing in. If it's a no combo kind of setting, then he'll drop both of those and just add some stuff in place of it. I made a few tweaks to the deck before the game since I've already played it a few times. I added just some spicier lands to the deck. I added this Labyrinth for some blocking. Makokoro, Gaia Reach for the card draws. Bonder's Enclave for more card draw. Added Strip Mine, Rogue's Passage, helpful to have around. And then I tinkered around with a few things in the deck. I added a Manifold Key because it pairs well with Tome of Legends. Also, the Unblockable can be nice if you're just trying to get something through and goad something. I added Legion Warboss and Goblin Rabblemaster, which we didn't see in the game, but those will spit out tokens every turn, and that can keep you good with, trying to get more Grenzo triggers going, so I do like those. But I added a couple more things. I added Wild Ricochet, Dualcaster Mage, and Direfleet Daredevil. These give you a way to cast your opponent's spells, and I figured those really fall in line with the theme of the deck. So, they're a cute way to try and cast more of your opponent's stuff. So I thought that those would be interesting. Didn't really see any of them in the game, sadly. I've also added this Helm of Possession, which you can sacrifice a creature to gain control of a creature as long as the helm remains tapped, which is pretty sweet. Another way to play with opponent's stuff. For this to really be its most effective, you do want to have a lot of tokens in play, and that's going to be your Legion Warboss type cards. Some of the other stuff in the deck I would need to test out more. I haven't used Twist Allegiance that much. I was so sad when the mob rule went down. Oh, that was soul crushing. The Humans deck was pretty cool. The Rogues deck was pretty cool too. For us, the difference maker was really in Mask of Memory and Sword of the Animist. Having a cheap commander and just getting that repeatable value. It allows you to transition from the early game into the late game really well. If you don't have those in your opener in this deck, things are going to be a little more rough than they were here. But yeah, overall, we killed a player via goading. We stole a True Conviction, which was really helpful in the moment that we used it. And we just generally caused havoc on the board. It was pretty fun. It's a fun little deck to play. This is not the most powerful build of it, but it's really fun if you want to mess with your opponent's stuff and just be like annoying and disruptive and use all their cards and that type of stuff. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Hey guys, in addition to my TCG affiliate player link, I now have an affiliate link with Flipside Gaming, an LGS from my hometown. You can use the promo code REPLAY to save 10% on your next order over $10. Both affiliate links are in the description below. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below.